Hey, what's going on YouTube? Hey, and today I got a banger for y'all today. Today will be about, a March Madness type of video, but for football teams, and this topic, I'm saying, I had a crazy idea, man. If this video doesn't boom in the football community, I'm gonna be highly disappointed, but I'm pretty sure all y'all will like it. This video is based around all 32 teams' best year, so like the Dolphins 72, the Saints '09, Patriots '07, stuff like that. um Pretty much trying to get like a what if, or just a crazy little video idea I had, and I thought I share it to all of y'all. So with that being said, this video will include every team's best year. The Dolphins made it. Dolphins won the Super Bowl undefeated 72. Patriots lost the Super Bowl undefeated. So it's just like, I'm gonna include every team's best year. So the Panthers 2015, they made the Super Bowl. So hopefully y'all can, catch on, and hopefully y'all enjoying the video. So with that being said, let's get into it. And as you guys can see, I got some nice teams all throughout NFL history. And with that being said, let's hop into the first matchup, and that is the 2015 Cardinals versus the 2012 Falcons. And before things get kicked off, I feel like I have to explain myself as to why I chose the 2015 Cardinals over the '08 Cardinals. I know the '08 Cardinals made the Super Bowl. Kurt Warner, Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald, what I'm saying, a nice team overall for a team franchise, but I feel like 2015 was better overall. I know they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but they had MVP caliber Carson Palmer 2015, Larry Fitzgerald, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Calais Campbell. You know what I'm saying? The team was just overall better. So I hope you guys understand as to why I chose that team over the '08. But you know what I'm saying? Heading to the 2012 Falcons. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I think I'm gonna roll with I think I'm gonna rock with the 2015 Cardinals. The 2012 Falcons. Is I don't think they could. I don't think they have the firepower. So I don't think they can match what the Cardinals can give out offensively, especially offensively. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even looking at the numbers really. I'm just thinking about, Julio was drafted 2011. Julio now isn't the Julio then. So, and that's why I included the wide receiver core of Roddy White, Tony Gonzalez. I'm pretty sure they had Malcolm Jenkins, so the wide receiver core was definitely there, but that offense was more so Michael the Burner Turner, freshly off of San Diego, the trio, the monsters, LT, Michael Turner, and Darren Sproles. So it's just like, that, I think the beginning of that offensive, the beginning of the decade, Falcons was most definitely handed to Michael Turner. That first few years he was on the team. And then defensively, I had to mention John Abraham, a extremely underrated player during his time in the NFL. And of course, they had Asante Samuel, but he was already 31 at the time. So you know what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure Asante was locking. I'm pretty sure he was locking shit down. But I'd rather take Asante on the Eagles, Patriots. I'm not bashing him, but I'm pretty sure he did his thing well. I know he did his thing in Atlanta, but John Abraham, I gotta hand that to him on the defensive side. So, the verdict is, of course I'm gonna rock with the 2015 Cardinals, but I'm just not gonna act like the Falcons wouldn't put up no fight offensively. The defense, I don't know, other than John Abraham and Asante Samuel, and I'm pretty sure they had Donta Robinson. Hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about. Over there from Houston. But I think, I don't think the Falcons defense can keep up with the Cardinals, honestly. So that's just me on that matchup. And for this next one, we may have an upset. I don't know, but we're about to find out right now. And going into the 2015 Panthers a little bit deeper, Cam Newton absolutely balled out that year. Of course, you can look at the season he had and you can say, oh man, he deserved to be MVP that season. But looking into it a little bit deeper, he didn't really have shit other than a security blanket and Greg Olsen, who received for 1,000 yards for a tight end. That's good. If a tight end can go over 1,000 yards, he's putting in work, or the offense is really just based around that tight end. So with that being said, he had Ted Ginn Jr., Corey Brown, Jericho Cotchery, and for an MVP quarterback of this era, not even this era, but just in NFL history, amongst the MVP quarterbacks. He has had probably one of the probably like the bottom tier receivers to throw to. It's so with that being said, it's more so. Oh yeah, he definitely deserves the MVP versus more Tom Brady in '07. I'm not saying Tom Brady didn't deserve it in '07. I'm just saying, like, you can tell the talent. It's pretty much like, Tom Brady, Randy Moss, Cam Newton, Greg Olsen. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much like, the the weapons they had amongst their MVP season. So, Cam Newton definitely balled out that season. A couple other notables. Jonathan Stewart, a very solid running back during his time. You know what I'm saying? He paired with D'Angelo Williams and formed Crunch and Munch. I don't even think, I know Chris Johnson and Lindell White were deemed smash and dash, and I want to say shortly, probably even that same season. What is that? We were talking about the '08, something. I think it was the '08 that sparked all of these little nicknames, honestly. So it goes smash and dash in Tennessee and crunch and munch in Carolina. But let me get into this defense for the Panthers. The 2015 Panthers defense is, I don't want to say underrated, but they're definitely being forgotten. More so due to the fact that we've seen other great defenses thrive in this era of football, or even this decade, even more so this decade of football, probably we can say. We've seen the Legion of Boom Seahawks, we've seen the no-fly zone Broncos, we've seen the Jim Harbaugh 49ers. We've seen great defenses. I'm pretty sure more that I can name, but I can't think of right now at this very second. But I feel like the 2015 Panthers are I feel like they're falling out of line amongst the great defenses that in recent memory that we've seen. Because I don't want to say, other than the defenses that I just named, I can't really think of even 1, 2, 3 more that can be better than the 15 Panthers. But with that being said, let's go ahead and head over to the 85 Bears, and this team isn't really too fantastic either. Other than Walter Payton on offense, this team isn't really too special. But that defense really did make a name for itself, and I really think that defense is why the 85 Bears are so glorified in NFL history. I want to say, just honestly speaking, that defense had Richard Dent with 17 sacks. Bruce Wilson with 10.5 sacks, Steve McMichael with 8, Dan Hampton with 6.5, and William Perry, that was a rookie, with 5 sacks. And the linebackers were spectacular as well. Mike Singletary, of course, legendary Hall of Famer. Wilbur Marshall, who was a 2-time All-Pro, one being with the Chicago Bears, and Mike Richardson, who had 4 interceptions the 85 year, and then the year after that had 7 interceptions. So that defense was just this defense would probably put any offense in a chokehold. Just being real with y'all, like, this 85 defense was really no joke, and in my opinion, the best defense of all time. Yes, there may be some purple people eater fans, the fearsome foursome, the Seahawks, Legion of Boom Seahawks, the 49ers. It can be all types of fans from all different teams, but this 85 Bears defense was actually crazy. And with that being said, let's head into the next matchup, the 92 Cowboys versus the 2014 Lions. And with this matchup, it really isn't too much to explain, really. The Cowboys have too much firepower for the Lions to handle. The triplets, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, that's all you need to hear with a Cowboys squad to dominate. But, the 2014 Lions, they had a little defense. They had a little defense with underrated players on that squad. But most of that defense generated from the pretty much the line of scrimmage would be the main focus of this matchup. The Great Wall of Dallas, or the Great Wall, or whatever they used to call that Dallas offensive line. And then the 2014 Lions, they actually had a good defensive line. They had Ndamukong Suh, Nick Fairley, and Ezekiel Ansah. So that would be something to look forward to in a matchup. Because I'm pretty sure every football fan has heard the game is won in the trenches, the line of scrimmage, whoever gets the bigger push, stuff like that. So that would probably be the main focus of this matchup. But this really isn't too much to talk about. The Dallas Cowboys, uncontested, pretty much, just straight out blowout. And then they have, and I didn't even know the Dallas Cowboys had the number fifth ranked defense. So with that being said, I think this is closed case. Just no fat lady's gonna be singing, no nothing. So with that being said, Cowboys got this one easy. This next matchup should be a little bit better, so let's hop right into it. And this matchup is more so like the Cowboys and Lions, a clear-cut favorite. But I do think with this matchup, I think it will be more so a tug of war. Both teams fighting to get in good position, but just consistent 3-and-outs throughout the whole game until one team gets it going. And I think that one team will be the 99 Rams. They have Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Funk. Marshall Funk can get it done rushing and receiving, so that's just something that the defense will have to prepare for. I'm pretty sure they don't have anybody. I think Charles Woodson is at the Packers. I think Charles Woodson is with the Packers in 2014 around this time. The best corner they have is Sherman Williams and Sam Shields. And so with all due respect, they can't hold Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. So with all due respect. So it's just like, it's either you're going to get it from Torrey, Isaac, Marshall, So it's that type of deal. But, I want to take a little bit of time to recognize some of these defensive players. Julius Peppers and Clay Matthews. I'm not sure if they ever rushed the passer concurrently at the same time, but I do think, I don't know if this ever happened, but I do think that would have been a really dominant pass rush. Julius Peppers was pushing, 30, I don't know how old he was during in 2014, but Julius Peppers has been a threat throughout his whole career, so it's just like, respect that man on rushing the passer. Clay Matthews, he's rushed the passer in his earlier years. I do think around this time he had to switch to linebacker. I think he didn't play Will, Sam, and Mike linebacker. So Clay Matthews is very familiar with that front seven. He's very familiar with calling the plays. He's very familiar with all of that rushing pass and all that good stuff. But going over to the 99 Rams defensive side, they have Kevin Carter, who that year had 17 sacks. So with that being said, that's like who's gonna guard him. But I'm pretty sure the Packers, much like the Patriots, oh man, I wish I could talk right now. Has had a great offensive line throughout Rodgers' career. I want to say, they had Brian Balonga, T.J. Lang, and T.J. Bucky or what I don't know these dudes' names, but I'm pretty sure these dudes have had a solid offensive line throughout his career, more so like Brady over there in New England has. But Kevin Carter was 17 sacks. DeMarco Farr had 8.5, and Grant Winstrom had 6.5. So the Rams D line was a problem back then. So with that being said, it's like the 99 Rams got to take this home no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So I think other than that, I think this will be a good game in reality. Like I said, it will be a tug of war match until the Packers or either the Rams get something going on offense, and then it will be that type of game. So yeah, that's what I got from this game. All right, moving on. And we have the 98 Vikings versus the 09 Saints. Now I know, in my opinion, this may be the most fun and most difficult to dissect and get a feel for, because every other game that we already went over, it seemed like one team favored the other team, like one team already had a one-sided advantage of the other. But this might be something different, so let's go ahead and get into that one. Looking at the Saints rankings for the 09 season, I was kind of shocked that the defense was ranked 20th with all those banners they had on teams that season. Even the defensive coordinator got suspended for a couple of seasons, came back. Yeah, that's real shocking to see that defense ranked 20th. Of course, the offense up to par, high-powered, unstoppable offense, number one ranked offense. I want to say ever since Drew Brees has been in New Orleans, that offense has been, top 10, great, 5,000 yards here and there, weapons everywhere. That Saints offense has pretty much been consistent throughout Drew Brees' time, honestly. And the notable players, Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush, he underachieved with his days in New Orleans, being the number one. Was he the number? I think he was the number one or number two draft pick in 06. But either way you put it, he didn't live up to the hype pretty much. I feel like he didn't get a real shot. I feel like he would have been good in the 90s because, 90s running backs could have received, used their speed, edge, all of that good stuff in the 90s. But during his time in New Orleans, especially once they started becoming contenders, they had Pierre Thomas, and he was splitting carries with Pierre Thomas, and that wasn't good on the development and the potential that Reggie Bush could have lived up to. Marcus Colston, an underrated receiver. The secondary, they had Jabari Greer, Tracy Porter, Roman Harper, and Darren Sharper. And that secondary was elite, to say the least. If anything, I know that defense wasn't good, but that secondary was something to look out for, especially with Darren Sharper. He's doing about 30 years for rape or something. I don't know what he did, but he's doing 30 years for something he did. But me personally, hot take, unpopular opinion, I think Darren Sharper is like a top 5 strong safety, free safety, whatever he is. A lot of people may say, all he did was no. Darren Sharper he has the tackles. He has, I don't know if he has the fumbles. I don't know. I know he has the tackles, the interceptions, and all of that. Anything to check off for his Hall of Fame safety, he's there. But with his whatever he did to get in prison for pretty much life is gonna hold him out for the Hall of Fame, and that's a fact. So moving to the 98 Vikings, of course they have the number 1 ranked offense. They have a young Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Robert Smith. Me personally, I like Robert Smith. He of course he was a 1,000-yard rusher, and the defense not really too crazy. That defense was more balanced than the Saints. They had John Randall. It had corners. One corner on the 98 Vikings had 2 interceptions for the season, and the rest of them had 4+ interceptions on the season. So that secondary, along with the defense as a whole, was better than the Saints. So I'm gonna take the 98 Vikings just for being a better team on the field. But yeah, I'm gonna need a recount on the Saints defense because that's just ridiculous for all those bounties they had that season. And this next matchup should be fun, the 86 Giants versus the 2017 Eagles. So let's go ahead and check it out. And for this matchup, I'm gonna go ahead and rock with the 2017 Eagles. I know some of y'all may think this is an upset, which it is, but which it might not be on me. Honestly, it depends on however you look at it. But I think the 2017 Eagles are gonna come out with this one with a W. At quarterback, Carson Wentz in the regular season, Nick Foles in the playoffs. They didn't really have too many big playmakers. LeGarrette Blount, and I think they acquired Jay Ajayi mid-season from the Dolphins. But the receiving court didn't really do too many outside of touchdown. I think they all did pretty good on touchdowns, but I don't think neither of them, if I said that right. I'm gonna say any of them have over 1,000 yards. I don't think so. The same thing with the rushing, LeGarrette Blount and JJ. I don't think they rushed for over 1,000 yards either. They do have Zach Ertz, a security blanket for Carson Wentz, Nick Foles. I think he had a pretty good season that season. The offensive line is where I'm sold at with this Eagles team. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Brooks. I think Jason Peters was on that line too, or was he? I don't know if he was hurt. I forgot, but honestly, that offensive line got me sold. And to the defense, they had Malcolm Jenkins, Jalen Mills, Ronald Darby. The linebacking core is one of my favorites, and that's due to Madden. But if you take Madden out of the equation, I think they had a pretty good, solid linebacking core. Michael Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, and Nigel Bradham. So all 3 of those names are pretty solid, can get the job done, can play the role. Mike Samuel are pretty good. And the defensive line is where the Eagles defense really got nasty at. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Timmy Jernigan, and Vinny Curry. So that defensive line is just pretty much good. The defense on this Eagles team is good. I think it's just that offense that's probably not gonna get them too far in this all-time bracket. So with that being said, I think I'm rocking with the Eagles, but let's go ahead and see what the Giants are rocking with on the roster. And with this 1986 Giants team, it's not really eye popping either. You know, Phil Simms at the quarterback. They did have a 1,000-yard rusher in Joe Morris, and he rushed for 1,500 yards that season. But that's about it. The receiving core wasn't really there. Their tight end Mike Bravo, if I'm saying his name right, received 66 catches for 1,000 yards, and that is excellent for a tight end. On 66 catches to break 1,000 yards, that is excellent. That is a great season, honestly. The defense isn't really too eye popping either. On this Giants team, the defense isn't really too crazy. Besides Lawrence Taylor with 20 sacks, 20 and a half sacks, and then Leonard Marshall had 12 sacks. I think Carl Banks had 5 or 6, I want to say. But I want to say that is honestly it for the Giants defense. I know Giants fans may remember the 2011 and 2007 Giants team, but that 1986 team, I think that may be the worst of their three Super Bowls they have won in franchise history. 2007, 2011 are much better overall teams, much better teams than the 1986 Giants team, and that's just being honest. So, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and have to rock with the Eagles on this one. In the next matchup we have is the 84 49ers and the 2013 Seahawks. This one should be good due to the fact, the 49ers had Jerry Rice, Seahawks had the LOB Legion of Boom, so this one should be interesting to dissect a little bit more, so let's get straight into it. No, never mind. That was a false alarm. I thought this team had Jerry Rice, but I was mistaken. It doesn't. They just have Dwight Clark. In the out of position, Roger Craig playing fullback for some reason. I found that weird when I looked at the roster. Honestly, me personally, I think Joe Montana did a great carry job this season. The 49ers didn't have really too much, but back then you didn't really need too much to have an efficient, great offense. So, but I do think honestly that this 2013 Seahawks team will put that offense in a chokehold. Honestly, of course, the Legion of Boom, a legendary secondary in NFL history. I think Richard Sherman should be able to be put on an island with Dwight Clark or any receiver on that 49ers squad. Honestly, we're talking about a 2013 Richard Sherman back-to-back All-Pro cornerback in Richard Sherman. So hopefully, I would hope. He should get the job done on an island against any receiver that the 49ers provide as the number one receiver. But to go along with that, the whole secondary, they had Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor. They had Brandon Browner, who is locked up for prison. He's locked up in prison for home invasion, or I forgot exactly what he did, but he's currently doing some time in prison. I forgot exactly what he did, but I think they had Brian Maxwell and Jeremy Lane. I can't remember if they had them both. One playing the slot and one as a fourth. I don't really know the deal with that far down on the depth chart, but I do know they had Brandon Browner and Brian Maxwell during that time. I think the linebacking core was solid. KJ Wright, Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irvin, and the great thing with Bruce Irvin, you can put him on the line and he can get the job done rushing. But he started out as a linebacker, of course. With this D line, I don't think this is the best version of the Seahawks D line that they've had during the that dynasty Super Bowl run. They had Chris Clemens, Brandon Mebane, Tony McDaniel, and Ray Bryant. I think the 2014-2015 season is when they had the best D line. Honestly, they had Cliff Averill, Michael Bennett, Brandon Mebane, and I forgot the other interior defensive line, the other defensive tackle they had on that roster. But like I said, I don't think Joe Montana is going to get a job done against this defense. This defense is going to put the offense in a chokehold, honestly. I don't think Joe Montana has enough weapons to battle, just to put enough points up on the board, honestly. They had Beast Mode, who rushed for 1,000 yards that season, so I just don't really see the 49ers making this game close or interesting, honestly. This is me personally. And let's go ahead and hop into the last matchup of the video. And the Redskins had a nice little squad, to be honest. They had Ernest Biner, a serviceable running back throughout his career, 1,000-yard rusher this season. I know when many people think of Ernest Byner, they think of the fumble that led to the drive. I think in what 84 or something. I don't know what Elway pulled it off against the Browns. I don't know, but yeah. A lot of people think of him of that situation. You know, they also had Gary Clark, Art Monk, both 1,000-yard receivers that season. Just looking at the team, besides on offense, did nothing too crazy. On the defense, you know, they had Charles Mann with 11.5 sacks. And, you know, just Darrell Green, honestly, that pops out to me. A team that won the Super Bowl against the Bills, but everybody was racking up a free win on the Bills during that 90s. Where the Bills went to 3 or 4 straight Super Bowls and then come out with that one ring, but you know, everybody was just collecting a free ring off the Bills. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on the Redskins. But I know the Bucs had a much better squad. You know, Brad Johnson was the quarterback that year. Two offensive names that pop out at you are Keyshawn Johnson and Mike Oslott. But the defense side of the ball is what to look out for. You know, they had Super Bowl MVP Dexter Jackson. I think he caught 2 or 3 picks against the Oakland Raiders in the Super Bowl that year. You know, they also had John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Brian Kelly had 8 interceptions that year. Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice. Simeon Rice is an underrated pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? I think he's an underrated pass rusher. He doesn't get talked about much. He was a great pass rusher during his time in the NFL, but he just doesn't get talked about much. Hopefully, he'll make the Hall of Fame sooner or later. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and rock with the Bucs, nice and easy. It didn't take too much to think about, honestly. And I think that'll do it for the video. And with that being said, that is the end of the video. That's the end of bracket 1, round 1, part 1. Then when I get to the other side, it's gonna be round 1, part 2, and all that good stuff. So with that being said, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if I got a matchup wrong. Let me know if I got a matchup right. Tell me a reason behind it and all that good stuff. And so yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all next time. All right, peace.